Okay. It is a little bit after time, so I guess we will get going. Thank you for sending all the information to us, and I think we have an interesting agenda here tonight. And I know it's a little different than our normal way to gather, but it's still good for us to have this discussion. Do we know if we have any members of the public that have asked to speak?
Not that we know of.
Okay. Then I know we're going to have Mr. Blackshear talk to us about our online kind of rules. And do you want to do that first, or do you want us to go ahead and approve the minutes and be ready for him?
Yeah, Ronnie will go ahead and go over the virtual meeting requirements.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So we've already done the call to order and introduction, establish a quorum.
We're short one for a quorum.
Okay.
We can do introductions. I'll start as Tina Russo, MPO, Active Transportation Planner.
Yeah, I'm Randy Stovall, BPAC Chair.
I'm Gunter Flag, BPAC member at large. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We heard.
Thank you.
Mark Penson, BPAC.
Leah Gorman, Pasco MPO.
Ronnie Blackshear, Pasco MPO.
David Goldstein with the County Attorney's Office. Now, Ronnie, you can still have a meeting without a quorum, but you're not going to be able to take it without a quorum.
Understood.
And
Ediger, Pasco MPO.
right. I saw Casey Kersey on the call. Is she still with us?
Yes. Hi, it's Casey Kersey with AECom. I'm one of your participants and panelists today.
Great, thank you. All right, is everybody logged in? All right. Well, I guess we're ready to start with our briefing on online meeting protocols. And I do know this, been on a lot of these. And the one thing I know, we should all keep ourselves muted unless we're talking. That way we don't get feedback. But with that, let's go forward. And Mr. Blackshear, if you'd like to tell us about the rules.
Yes, sir. For the record, Ronnie Blackshear with the Pasco MPO. As far as our virtual meeting requirements, the committee members, please note a roll call vote is required for all action items in order to establish a quorum, since not all members are physically present in one room. And each member must verbally state their name and indicate a yes or no to an action item. The public can participate in the virtual meeting during the public comment section, either via phone call during the meeting or via email. I will say this, that based on the current governor's executive order, which I believe expires on July 8th, the county, DOCC, in conjunction with the county attorney's office, and the MPO also with regards to its board and committees, also with the planning commission with the county, we'll be looking at a different type of meeting if we're anticipating that executive order may not be extended. In that case, then we're looking at what we would consider a hybrid meeting. And with the hybrid meeting, there has to be a physical quorum at the location of the meeting itself. Meaning that if in the Board of County Commissioners case where there's 5 members, at least 3 would have to be physically present at the meeting, where the other 2 could possibly, participate via WebEx. And with this new, that will be going to the board, I believe, on June 30th via a resolution. The MPO, I am working on that with the county attorney's office to establish a resolution for us to also have. We currently have a resolution now with the current situation, and that was, if you notice on your agenda, there's a blurb of that at the beginning. On May 14th, the MPO board passed a resolution that acknowledges the executive orders that were in place by the governor's office, and also the resolution that the board, the BOCC, passed earlier. And with this new setup with the hybrid meeting, members of the public can participate via WebEx, email, and also there will be a kiosk that is anticipated to be installed at the meeting locations outside of the meeting area room. And since we're still in this pandemic, a lot of the social distancing requirements will still be in place. One thing that will not occur during the virtual meetings is there will be no phone-ins for those meetings. And that pretty much concludes my talk regarding virtual meetings. And I believe, Mr. Goldstein, if I haven't covered everything, you can add to that if needed.
I think, Ronnie, I think you covered it all. The only thing I would add is that regardless of what happens with the governor's executive order, I'm sorry about that. I didn't silence my phone. Regardless of what happens with the governor's executive order, it's my understanding that we're going to move to the hybrid virtual meeting model effective July 1. So I think you can count on it being hybrid virtual meetings after the end of this month.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you, David.
Okay, thank you for that information. I see from the agenda that you're also up. Did you have another information you want to provide us?
I guess Tina had put this on the agenda. I just wanted to introduce myself. I am the MPO Executive Director. I came into the position on March 9th of this year. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, things have been a little busy, so to speak. So I look forward to working with you guys. This is my first BPAC meeting. I've been in each of the TAC and CAC meetings on 2 separate occasions. And also our LCB, our local coordinating board meeting. So I look forward to the opportunity to work with the BPAC committee in advancing bike and ped facilities for Pasco County. Thank you.
So thank you for that information, and welcome to Pasco County. I know it's a weird time to start, but I know you're making a difference because we need your help and your expertise, so we appreciate you. The next thing in our agenda is approval of minutes from the February meeting, but I don't think we have a quorum. So what we could do is if there's any edits that anybody has, we could, at least provide those edits to Tina. And if not, we can approve those at the next meeting where we have a quorum established. So that would lead us then to our update on the Vision Zero. Is that something that Casey's going to help us with?
Hi, it's Casey Kersey with AECOM, and I also have Channing Bickford with me with AECOM. If Channing, if you're, then there's a participant. If you're still working on that, that's okay. Tina, do you want to introduce things and then I'll talk about the video, or what would you like to do?
Go ahead and take it, Casey.
Okay, all right. Great. So thank you everyone to the BPAC. The last time Channing and I got to introduce ourselves, we were really just kicking off Vision Zero. And as Ronnie said, COVID's made an interesting 6 months for all of us. So in the interim, what we have been doing is actually collecting a lot of video footage for a Vision Zero library. And Tina has been directing us of where she's got knowledge of areas that are tricky areas and have some safety issues. We spent an afternoon after we had let FDOT know we were going to be there, and the county and everyone, getting some video footage at US 19 and Ridge there, and proper behavior of how to cross as a pedestrian and also as a cyclist. And then really just observing what the general population is doing out there during the day, given that there's a transit stop by that Wawa and so forth. Another area that we've collected footage was on Starkey Boulevard. And Tina, I don't know the cross street there, Main. It goes over to the elementary school and where the connection is coming in, but there's a crosswalk there.
That's Town Avenue on the west side and Lake Blanche on the east side.
Okay, and to develop that video footage, unfortunately, there had been a recent fatality of a young man the day after the time change, up, I believe, off of Moon Lake, if I've got it correct. Due to the time change, it was dark now that next day, and this unfortunately occurred. So Tina asked us to pull together some video footage as quickly as we could about better behavior when the time changes. And so we'll be ready for next year to have it go out as a public service announcement to the schools and, to the general population. And that's something we're going to show you today. But it was a very quick response. We brought out always people that we know. In the video, it's always people that we know, but our video specialist brought his two young students with him, or his two sons who are students. Lori, with your group, brought her daughter, Lillian, and we did a lot of footage of completely in the dark and dark clothing, then the same footage wearing white, and we practiced going to the crosswalk with the flashing beacons and so forth to see what we could do to put this together. So we're kind of sending it around and getting some input if this would be appropriate for a younger age group. It's quick, it's 15 seconds, catches your attention and reminds you to be safe. We've also been getting a lot of video footage on the trails and just observing Tri-County, Suncoast, and the trail there on Starkey Boulevard. Fantastic footage. We've gotten footage of Catherine Starkey talking about trails and putting a lot together. So Tina, do you guys want to show the one or talk a little bit and add into that introduction?
So like Casey said, the biggest thing that we've done in the last few months, even with kind of the restrictions that we've had, is we've done a lot of videotaping in a lot of different locations for future library use for programs and projects. So this is just a small piece. And then we just finished up a promotional video for getting out on trails that will probably premiere next meeting. But again, this is just a quick clip. It's like 20 seconds. It's more of a PSA style. But again, that's just a small clip of several hours or a couple of hours of videotaping that we've already done.
Give me 1 second, folks, and I'll pull it up for you. If you haven't turned your sound on so I can make sure.
So it's quick, and that's the point. It's going to be for a phone to go out to students. And we have the ability to always update, keep multiple versions. If we want a longer teaching video, we can certainly do that. But this was a very quick response to that situation. And Tina, if you want to ask for some feedback, see what you guys think if that were going to kids at a school.
Can we play it one more time, Todd, since it's so quick? We'll play it one more time because I know I had to look at it several times, but we'll play it one more time and then we'll get some feedback. Sorry, Todd. Any thoughts, comments? We kind of started off wanting something that we could start as a brand for us since we haven't had much in Pasco County. So we kind of want to kind of take the same theme and use it for all user groups, cyclists, pedestrians, and even driving behavior.
I like it. I think it's very short. It'd be great if we could get our school partners, to roll it out somehow through their network for us. It seems like a no-brainer for them because it helps their students to stay.
I think it's good, well-intentioned. I'm wondering whether it needs a little more shock at the end, like squealing tires to indicate the obvious. If you're not visible, you may get run over by a car.
Casey, we were out early that morning when we did this videotaping, so we did have some very interesting things happen while we were out videotaping as well, so.
Well, and I do want to add in, I love Gunther, I love your input because we've had that comment to us to give a little more attention grabbing, right? And then that's easy enough for us to do. We can certainly do that. We learned some lessons completely. There was a large group, as you could tell, and we had all ages, and we have a lot of footage of doing a lot of different, very safe things. Anyone around us videotaping was wearing safety vests, and we had spotters, and we're really making sure that that group that you saw going across was well protected. And even with that, we had a particular SUV with a government official blow right on through us. So it taught us to kind of work on the brand a bit more with you must look. And I think, Tina, that's the part you were really teaching me is we used to be left, right, or right, the things that we learned as a child growing up. It's now about you must look yourself and maintain a watchful eye. Don't depend on the other people in front of you. Don't assume the cars see you. I think that particular morning led us to realize we do need to do some very good training videos for all of us about when we're in that crosswalk section.
Interject, everyone. Really quick, Debbie is on, so you may quorum now. I don't know. Tina, do you want to check?
Yes, that's correct.
Is quorum 4 or 5? I believe we have 4.
All right, so glad that you're here. I also saw Bill Jackson, not on my screen right now, but that's good too. I like the video. I was also thinking, I think I don't know if it's our last meeting or the meeting before, we had some folks at our meeting from the health department, and there was some indication that the health department has some kind of training that they occasionally provide to youngsters too. So it may be that when you get this all finished in college, maybe another source of help.
Randy, your volume's a little down. I can't hear you.
Okay. I was just saying it may be the health department representative on BPAC can help us get that to the right people as well. So I think it's a great effort, and it's worth doing for sure.
Also, have contacted our public relations folks, and we're talking about a press release and and getting out in different ways and through also USF Cutter. So we're looking at those other avenues, and we've made that first contact. I've made that first contact with the sheriff's office as well, and bringing their representative on the BPAC.
That's good. Thank you for doing that.
I had a comment. This is Mark Pinson on the look both ways I'd like to see that also on the cars. This is fresh from my bike ride into work this morning. On the really busy roads, the cars are so stressed about trying to pull out onto the road that they're just concentrating looking left. And if you're biking or coming from the opposite side on the sidewalk through them, but there's a lot of times people just don't look at all right because they're just so worried about getting out into the traffic. That look both ways would be nice to promote up for the drivers as well.
And Tina, if I recall, so we even got some footage of Tina at State Road 54 with that exact, like you said, that's huge, with her showing how to properly cross 54 as a cyclist in a busy rush hour morning that you and Brad collected. And we've got that video footage, but we haven't tried to make anything out of it. But that is a comment very well received and agreed with.
And actually, the current teaching is actually not both ways anymore. It's left, right, left.
This is David Goldstein. I have a non-legal question. Can I ask it?
Certainly.
Yes.
What did you end up filming at Starkey in town or not?
Yeah,
Say that again.
Did you end up doing any kind of film at Starkey and Town Avenue, Starkey Boulevard? I couldn't tell if you filmed it or not.
Everything you just saw, Dave, was filmed there.
Okay.
Mhm.
The reason I'm asking is because I was just there today, and I actually was trying to cross the street at that flashing intersection on my bike, and it's blocked off. The utilities contractor has blocked off the location where you can safely cross Starkey Boulevard. So I guess my question is, does anybody ever talk to our utilities contractors to put up signage or, saying you should cross here instead? Or it was very unclear to me as a bicyclist where I was supposed to cross Starkey Boulevard safely when it's blocked, when the safe location is blocked by the utility contractor.
Hey, Dave, was it blocked on the side, on the east side?
It was blocked on the side where Longleaf is.
Yeah, it's blocked on that west side, and it has been blocked for probably maybe a month or two now. So I'll look into that through Public Works through Sam Bennett and see what's required of them. They should have some kind of signage both for the sidewalk being closed and any other lane blockage. That should be for both.
Yeah, I'm just not sure where. I mean, it was very unclear to me where you're supposed to safely cross Starkey Boulevard while this construction is going on. So some signage would be nice.
Oh, as we're talking about safety, I just had a car run the red light at Flormar and 19 and almost hit me broadside in a truck. I can't believe it. I'm like speechless. Just ran right through the red light.
Wow. All right. Anything else, Casey or Tina, on that topic?
Well, I wanted to, and Tina can kind of fill in. So what we'll be doing for AECom is we can make very quick edits to anything. We can make versions where I love, the idea of the screeching thing, to add in a little bit. We've actually had that comment. We can switch it up to the audience a little bit. And Dave, I think your comment actually is a pretty good idea to maybe get a date kind of in there at the bottom so when it was videotaped or, footage collected, because that was the first week of March when the kids were just asked not to go to school, right? So it would be good to know, especially if the intersection has changed after we put something together. And we're creating a library, so when we go into phase 2 of this, we can reach back to a lot of footage for that. And then Tina, I'll let you kind of talk about a phase 2.
Yeah, this one just finished up phase 1. So a lot of this gives us a good idea of going into phase 2, what we're going to do, and kind of pick some hot spots. We talked about some educational videos. If you looked at our UPWP that we already approved, in fact, I just looked at it earlier, some of those things are going to be part of what we're supposed to be doing as far as tasks goes. And we'll bring those to you hopefully starting in August. One of those tasks is also the trail counters, which is going to help us with some different data that we need for trail use that we normally don't get.
Well, that's great. You want to just go ahead and talk about the trail counter data since that's next anyway? Well, it's not next, I see, but you already mentioned it.
So just as Dr. Stamos said, we had the list of priority projects. Unfortunately, that you guys had to view them before you got a chance to kind of talk about them. But those projects were out for comment for 30 days and the MPO board approved them June 11th. So hopefully you got a chance to look at those. All of our trail projects, one of the main things that changed with this list of priorities was all of those trail priorities are now on table one. They used to be on a separate table. So that allows us to have more funding opportunities and different avenues to fund those trail projects as well. So hopefully you guys got a chance to look at that, including our TA projects as well.
I think I was at the MPO meeting when you talked about moving that table to the first table. I think that makes a lot of sense. And, I think we also be appreciative to you and the FDOT staff for making that suggestion. So that should help us. So thanks for that.
Any other comments on those list of priority projects?
This is Catherine. Are you going to talk about the different trails and where they are as far as funding, and are we skipping that?
No, in the next meeting, probably in August, we'll go into very much detail what trails, including like Orange Belt and where we're at with current projects, including Anclote. We'll get a little bit more detailed, up-to-date information on all those trail projects in the next meeting.
Her screen froze, so I'm not sure if she's hearing. Commissioner Starkey.
Yeah, she's probably having bandwidth issues right at the moment because it looks like she's driving.
Okay.
I have a question related to that, the priority list. Obviously, due to the COVID, there has been an incredible uptick in cycling and walking in neighborhoods. And, bike stores are sold out of bikes and you have to wait for many months to get a bike, and it's all a positive thing. And I'm just wondering if that excitement can be leveraged somehow in creating more funding, politically or through the administrative process to put more trails, pedestrian trails and bike paths into a forward motion.
Well, Gunther, that was a perfect lead way into the next item because we have no way of showing those numbers except having counters out. So that's a perfect lead way for me into this next item, Dr. Stovall.
Oh yeah, I think we need to talk about the counters, and I would just say to Gunner, I talked to somebody just this morning about the bike shortage in the bike shops, and I don't know what's like around where you are, but if you go to the Super Walmart, which is the one in my part of town, there are no bicycles left except the very, very tiny ones. All the others are done, and they usually had at any given time probably 80 to 100 bicycles. So it's very, very dramatic. So Tina, please tell us about the counter.
Yeah, Todd's going to go ahead and open the link. What we're working on is with DOT, the state office, and getting 5 trail counters that they actually give us. And then through those counters, we get monthly counts. And I'm going to go ahead, if you haven't had a chance to look at the statewide, they're all over the state. I reached out to Pinellas, and that's what this next piece in your packet's going to talk about. But Pinellas has 8 of them. But if you haven't had a chance to look at the statewide website, they will give us the counters and kind of let us use them for quite a while. And then we'll download the data. We have a memorandum of understanding with them on what we use them for. But if you haven't had a chance to look at them, they're really, really neat. And if Todd can go to the packet, I'm going to show you what Pinellas has done with them. I've been talking to Angela. They've had 8 on the Pinellas Trail for, I think, 4 years now. So in Pinellas, they have 8 of them. They kind of evenly distributed them out, and that's their marks. So as you know, Pinellas has added that loop, that pink part, but those 8 counters have been out there for 4 years. Next page, Todd. So we're looking at 5 different areas. We've kind of tweaked it back and forth. I want kind of the same thought process. I definitely want one south of 54 Starkey and one north of 54 and Starkey, so we can get counts on both sides of where that future overpass is going to be. And then one at Starkey Park, basically, and then 2 on Suncoast. So those are kind of the tentative thoughts on the where the counters would be for Pasco County. And there's even talk that if, they might want more, actually give us more if we want. So that next page, Todd. So those are kind of the thought process. This is what's really cool with what you can do with these counters. You get raw data, but you can download that data into an Excel and get the information from them. These are the 8 counters. This is April. Pinellas had over a 200% increase in their counts from last year to this year. In fact, they had so many people on the trail. They had a lot of the users going on the roadway because the trail was so packed. But this is some of the different information that we can get that proves the use on our facilities. Next page, Todd. So what's really cool too, go back. Sorry, I jumped ahead. I think there's a page, if you can see, go 1 page back. You can also, did I miss one? You can also show what type of users go on the trail with these counters, which is very, very helpful too. It'll give you bike, it'll give you, whether it's pedestrian, it'll give you the 2-way traffic, so you can get a little bit more accurate count, because a lot of people are doing that 2-way traffic, so you want to get a better count by knowing which direction they're going. So those are some of the information, that's some of the information you can get from these counters. So any questions on that? We're working on that agreement with DOT. We're looking at hopefully getting these counters by the end of the year. That way we can start really use them by the first of the year. And there's a little bit of training with that and some tweaking, but we're looking forward to being able to get some real numbers and have proof on how much our trails are being used.
Tina, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
The MPO board has the Marine Parkway overpass as the number 1. And I was wondering if you'd be putting a counter on that trail to get an idea of how much traffic that trail gets. Because I can tell you, I drive that road almost every day. I just drove it. There was nobody on it. I'd like to have one on that trail. Thoughts?
Yeah, and these are the ones that we're looking at are for basically for Sun Trail and C2 Suit, but there's other options for counters that we can use in other locations too. In fact, I'm talking to parks about other types of counters that are a little bit easier to use and get counts from as well.
My thought is that the more counters you get, the better. So that's a very good to have data, because elsewise you just wonder. Data is powerful. So thank you for working on that. And if you have a chance to get more, go ahead and tell FDOT yes wherever we need them. And the other thing, I don't know how we could get counts, but I keep thinking about the people who ride on the roads, and we have our trail, or we've got in our map the busy roads that people ride. I don't know how you'd ever be able to get counts from them either, but that'd be useful if that presents an opportunity in the future to do that somehow.
I know in the past, and maybe Alex from DOT can help us with that. I know in the past, DOT has done that through Strava and some other different avenues and safety audits. But yeah, and I don't know if I know Alex is on the line. I don't know if Alex can add to that about counts on our roadways.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Tina. We do have a couple of kind of crowdsourced data sources. We don't have a really robust kind of systematic count system for non-motorized traffic yet. That's kind of what we're trying to get to with that count loaner program that Tina is referring to. But we do have some access to some crowdsourced data, one of which is Strava, which is basically people self-report their activities, their jogs, their walks, their rides, and things like that, and it gets fed back into that. We also recently procured, it's called streetlight data, and it's basically this company has agreements with different phone apps that when you consent to share your location with the apps, they feed it to this company that then uses it to provide some origin and destination data, which kind of gives us, we can't get counts out of it, but it can give us an idea of where we have concentrations of bike activity. So our central office just kind of bought a subscription to that. We're kind of digging into it and trying to validate it now too. But we're definitely coming a long way just in the last few years that are the tools at our disposal to kind of get a handle on bike ped data and exposure. But it's a big issue kind of nationwide.
Thank you, Alex. And then again, I'll be continuing in the next meeting. I'll give you some more information on the trail counter program. But I'm really excited because this is probably one of the best ways to get information that we need that Gunther was talking about for funding. And that's what it's about. That's why one of the reasons why DOT has this non-motorized trail counting program.
All right, that leads us to, I guess, the trail map. So we have progress on that. I see you have an attachment as part of the packet.
Randy, you got to lean a little closer to that mic. It's hard to hear you when you're away from it.
All right, I hear you. Yeah, so I see the map is up. So you want to talk about that for us, Tina?
Yeah, this has been an ongoing project for the MPOs and the CCC, but it was brought up quite a bit in the TMA meeting that we had with the BPACs, back in March, I think it was. And we're currently working on updating the Pasco Trail map as well, but it was brought up in the Tri-County meeting that we had, so I wanted to bring it up, and it's an ongoing. In fact, it was just updated again, I think, today. But that's an ongoing. And this map was meant to be more for a visual regional map. It wasn't meant to be a working map, even though it becomes that way. But it was brought up at the last TMA, the Tri-County meeting as well, so I wanted to bring it back up. And then I'll have, hopefully, our trail map in our next meeting that we're currently working with Parks and GIS.
All right, so that sounds like progress is being made there, and so I'm already getting excited about the next meeting because you've been talking about all these interesting things you're going to bring to us. So that's great. Anything? I guess we're ready to look at other business, and then we got to talk a little bit about members. So you wanna bring us up on next steps?
So also, September 15th is going to be our BPAC County BPAC meeting. Most likely it's going to be in Oldsmar, just to give you a hint, which is going to be September 15th. We were looking at Brooker Creek, but there were some time issues with using Brooker Creek. So we're working on finalizing those details for the September 15th meeting. And then the member election, we'll have to probably start looking. It was May of this year that the election was supposed to happen, but because of COVID, we're kind of behind on that. So we'll probably push that out to August and start looking at that as well. Randy, I think Debbie Malone had a public comment and she took a while to was able to get on. So I don't know if we want to go ahead and go back to that.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I think we have plenty of time, so let's go ahead and do that now.
Debbie, did you want to go ahead and provide some public comment?
I would like to. Can you hear me?
Yep, there we go.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you went back to this. I appreciate it. So most of the people that have been on the board for a while know that I've been really trying to get a sidewalk on Congress Street between Massachusetts and Leland. I don't know how many people remember that whole conversation, but the county went and did a sidewalk from Massachusetts down. I don't know how far it goes down, but it's on Congress, on the east side of Congress. So then they did another sidewalk. Last spring, they did the sidewalk from Ridge down to Leland. So the whole spot on the east side, so the whole spot between Leland and Massachusetts has no sidewalk. Okay. Now that area is filled with some businesses, but it's filled with apartment complexes that have people who are elder and people who have disabilities. And I went last year and I tried to get the county to look at that. They started looking at it. They said, look, there's a lot more foot traffic on that area than we thought. Then all of a sudden, they just stopped. Okay, we're not going to do anything about it. Well, you'll just have to go to the BPAC. We'll have to see, put it on the list, whatever. So they started looking at it. I don't know what they found that stopped them from looking at it, even though they knew that there was a problem there. It's a very dangerous situation. The person from, I believe it was the traffic, they looked at it. They were out there looking at it. They saw a wheelchair user trying to manipulate around that area with no sidewalk, okay? On one side, on the north side of the street, the west side of the street, the sidewalks are horrible, okay? The wheelchair users and anybody like that has to go in the street. Now, if anybody knows about Congress in that area, they know the cars fly, it's just not a very safe situation. So I really need BPAC to help me out here because I've been trying to work with these people for over a year now. Okay, if any of you have been on a while, you know me. You know the situation. I really need your help. Or at least tell me what I need to do from here, okay? Because it's become a real situation, okay? I got a new, I'm legally blind, and I got a new guide dog. And my trainer said it is not safe for me to walk on the grass areas of that street because there's no sidewalk. So that means I cannot walk beyond my community. I can't walk along Congress. And not just me, but the people in the neighborhood who are older, who have wheelchair users. It's a very busy kind of section. And I don't understand why that the county did not do a sidewalk. They have a sidewalk to Massachusetts. Why didn't they continue it? Why did they go from Ridge down to Leland? They missed this whole section. Okay, I don't get it. Okay, but we really need to do something about that, because if we don't, somebody is going to get seriously hurt or killed. I hate to say it that way, but it's very much the truth. Okay, and then I also asked the county if they would do an audible pedestrian light at the corner of Massachusetts and Congress, because there are times of the day when you can't, from a blind perspective, we are trained certain ways that we need to cross the streets. You look at, you cross the street when the traffic is parallel, when it's going parallel. You can't tell that if there's no traffic because we can't see the light. Okay, so I can't see the pedestrian light that says, okay, walk. So, and that area has a couple of complexes that have a lot of people with disabilities. So it's not just about me. It's about, there's a complex right on Massachusetts, right near that section. That's a new complex that only people with disabilities can be in that little, it's a small little complex. So if you're not going to do anything to accommodate these people with disabilities, somebody is going to get hurt. So I really need your help with that. And another thing I wanted to say was I kind of caught at the end of something about the Starkey thing and about there was construction or something going on. Now, I want to make sure there is a legal requirement that if there's any construction or anything going on with the sidewalk being closed or anything like that, there needs to be an appropriate way to tell people that, like, for instance, if I'm blind and I'm walking along that section and all of a sudden you can't go along that sidewalk or something, there needs to be a way that I can know that is not a way to go. And it can't be just a piece of tape. It has to be something solid. So I don't know if that was there or not, but that was my other comment. So anyway, that's my big thing. And I mean, we really need, please, I'm asking for your help in this situation. We've been going at it for over a year now, and I really would appreciate some advice and some help to put that high on the priority list.
Debbie, I got your email with the limits, what you were talking about. So I'm going to look into it and see the history of it and kind of go from there, and I'll get back with you, okay?
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
What
Okay,
what is the
Chairman
crossroad?
Stover, you
Because I
have,
just tried to find it on my map
someone
of
who's
Newport
on
Richie.
named Brian Michaels who would like to ask a question. Brian, go ahead. You've been unmuted.
Oh, okay. Hey, I have a follow-up question. Seven Springs Road was just repaved, and the signs for at signalized intersections are still showing that you yield for pedestrians at a signalized intersection, and that was a perfect opportunity for the county to replace them with the correct signs, which are stop for pedestrians. I don't know, and I emailed the engineer for Pasco County, but I never got a reply on what the plan is for them to replace the incorrect signs with the correct signs. DOT's got a green light now. The state's got a green light to replace all those signs that are incorrect. And I know there's hundreds and hundreds of those signs, but a road project or a road enhancement project would have been the perfect time to replace those signs with the correct signs. This one happens to be right in front of a school.
Brian, send me that email.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. I understand. It's one of those. Trust me. I've been working on this for 10 years. I finally got the signs that the state will update the signs. And I know District 7, Alex told me they've already started to replace some of the signs on 19. But I was wondering what the county plan is, because those signs need to be removed. That's one of the problems you have with cars at signalized intersections where it's still showing the yield and the state laws stop at signalized intersections.
Yeah, send that to me and I'll forward it to, I'll follow up with it through our construction and even through, if it's in the school area, I can go through the school safety as well.
All right. Do we have additional public comments since we're still in that section?
We do not.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that was it, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And thank you, Tina, for taking your notes and looking into those issues. That brings us to the membership, and I know you have a table of terms, so you want to talk about that?
Yeah, and I'll send this out for, again, it's going to have to be in our August meeting. Kind of go see how we want to go through on this and see how we want to proceed with that. I've looked at the bylaws, but again, everybody's 2-year term expired May 2020, so I think we have to start all over again and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think we all started over at the same time because the bylaws were updated, and then that's what got those dates to be the same. When the bylaws took effect, that's when the new terms took effect. So yeah, we can work with that. So
that sounds good, and I'll we'll do some pre-work before that to give everybody a heads up on that before the August meeting. But it's probably going to have to be one of the first things for the August meeting is the membership.
All right, and I guess maybe at the next MPO you could say, or if you want me to do it in my report, that since we serve to represent the members of the MPO, it'd be nice if they can have that on their radar, and maybe you share with them that same list, and so they can be thinking if there's people that they've been wanting to get on or whatever. It'd be a good time for them to have input on that. All right, so that kind of brings us to the time for member roundtable. So this is your guys' time to talk. What's on your mind tonight?
This is Mark Penson talking. I did a project with the St. Leo class on marketing the Hardy Trail. I'd like to do a little bit more in the next meeting, if possible, of going over some of their concepts and ideas, which were pretty cool. They had some fresh perspectives. It was happening right when the coronavirus was just breaking out, and they were all working remote. So they had that in mind on thinking about what to do with how to promote bike riding on the trail, as well as what to do with the hub there.
That sounds like a great agenda item for the next meeting. So I look forward to hearing more.
Okay, you're added to the list.
So Gunter, what's on your mind?
I can't think of anything right now other than that I had a great time during COVID riding my bike on the empty streets, which was a lot of fun and almost surreal and occasionally. And I haven't really found a way to put that in a more productive perspective yet, other than what I mentioned earlier, to find a way to take the enthusiasm and create funding to build our network and fill in the gaps and pieces that are missing on I would think on a very local level, because it's still hard to get from neighborhoods to shopping centers et cetera, in and out of communities safely with children. And I think we should be talking about that some more in the near future.
I think what it did for us, and I say us, is folks that normally didn't get out and ride have gotten out and ridden. So I think we have a bigger audience now, bigger support group than ever before. I think that's the more important part of this, is more people now understand it maybe a little bit better and have a bigger buy-in to it than ever before.
If I may add to that, it's interesting, like our visiting son, visiting from Colorado during the Florida winter, he works seasonally in Colorado with the U.S. Forest Service. He was working in a bike shop in St. Pete before COVID, and then COVID happened, and the bike shop got so busy that encouraged the owner to buy another bike shop that was for sale along the Pinellas Trail, and built that one out and offered my son a job to work there, which in the end he didn't take. But that reminds me that, we still, and that's one of my favorite soapbox topics, that we have a great trail system in Pasco County with the Starkey Park Trail and the Suncoast Trail, but nowhere yet to capture business or let people linger there and spend money, or have simply support stations along those trails where you can buy food and drink, et cetera, and so forth. And I think that has to do with we're going through a public park that has no option to have concession stands, et cetera, and so forth. And I think that we should keep working on that subject, even to the point that we create special zoning overlay districts that would allow some businesses to relocate there, and be entrepreneurs and support cycling, period.
Yeah, I think, Gunter, that's one of the things that makes the Pinellas Trail so successful, because they have a lot of places like that. Different parts of the trail for people to stop and either get something to drink or get something to the bike or whatever. So I agree. And I think when Mark talks next time about the Hardy Trail over in Dade City, the city is in the process of building a facility that could do some of those things we just mentioned. It's kind of right in the middle of town, but there'd be a place for people to work the bike, to go to the bathroom, whatever, and pause while they're riding. So I think more of that the better. I agree with your comments very much. Thank you. Joel, what's on your mind, Joel?
Unmute, Joel.
And we work together with Hillsborough County, and I'm just thrilled that she's working here now, and I look forward to working with you, Tina. Good person, and one of the main reasons I joined the committee to begin with was because of all the experience that we had when we were with Hillsborough County, and I wanted to share some of that experience. I just also wanted to mention that I've had a string of two somewhat significant surgeries for the last 5 months, and I've been a shut-in all that time, and it's only been the last few days that I've been able to get out and about. So I'm looking forward to spending more time getting around and going to more things and riding my bicycle for a long time. So I appreciate very much the opportunity to come on this way. We've been doing this with Hillsborough County. They use a similar system, but it is set up through a slightly different approach, which made it more complicated when I was trying to tune in today, because this one is on Chrome and the other one is on Edge, which made apparently a conflict of some kind. But anyway, I just want to thank you very much for the opportunity, Tina. I look forward to working.
Thank you, Joel. And thank you, Gunther, because one of the things I'm looking to work on is a kind of a design element for our future trail projects. And that would be a good element, is concession and marketing and some other things that need to be part of our design checklist other than just the trail itself. So I think that was a good comment that we need to add to our future trail connections, is how we're going to incorporate businesses along the way too.
Okay, anybody else have any comments? If not, I would remind you the last item on the agenda is the announcement of our next meeting, which sounds like we might be actually face to face. Is that what
Yeah, and as Ronnie said, if that next resolution happens, we would need a quorum to be physically present, and we would practice the social distancing with that. And then, we could provide, still would have the virtual component of it as well.
Well, Joe, it'll be close to you for a change, in Land O'Lakes, so that's a good thing.
I'm sorry, I had difficulty hearing you.
I said the next meeting will be close to you, when it's scheduled for Land O'Lakes.
Oh, wonderful. I was just looking up the schedule. I don't see it handy here, but I try to keep it here. Oh, great. Here it is. So it's at Heritage Park. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, Tina, do you have any party words for us?
No, just, as we get closer to August and July, we're off, that, if you guys have some topics, I'm going to throw out some things. I'm even thinking about adopt a trail programs and some other things that we can start talking about, kind of get us more involved than just meeting, and kind of do more things as a group as well.
That sounds very good to me.
I wanted to thank everybody for watching the video. It's Casey Kersey with AECOM, but as part of this volunteer effort, I keep telling Tina, we want to get you guys out painting some stuff. So part is Vision Zero, to get the community impact. We can get out there and paint some areas that we want to put signage on the ground. Tina's got some great ideas, so get ready to paint somewhere. Tina, we got to figure it out.
Paint is better than signs.
All right, then I guess we can adjourn. Thank you all for participating, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Be
Thanks.
safe.
Bye-bye.